Hey, what's up guys? Gangster Jeweler here. So today we are working on a ring that we need to size from a 7, they say from a 7 to a 5, and looks like that is the case. So from a 7 to a 5. So with that said, let's go ahead and get on it. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. Hope everybody's Christmas was eventful. Mine wasn't very eventful. Had a nice rest. Chilled with the family a little bit. And that was about it. Alright, so we're going 2 sizes. We're going from a 7 to a 5. So we're going 2 sizes down. So what we need to go ahead and do is we need to go ahead and get our nice little handy marking tool here. And we're just looking for 2 sizes. Wouldn't it be nice if you could lose weight that fast? Just pick a size and cut it out. Alright, so 2 sizes. So we're going to go ahead and make our marks, make our lines. Make our 2 lines here. Like so. And if you can see that, we got 2 lines right there. So now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and grab our cutters. Grab our cutters there. And grab our cutters there. Now, somebody had asked me, you know, what do you do with the pieces, the piece that you have to cut out when you size a ring? Well, for what I charge, I don't charge a ridiculous amount. The only way I'm able to do that is if I can keep these pieces. Now, if I had to give these pieces back, or if they asked for them, I'd have to charge more. But, you know, I'm not charging an exorbitant amount. I've had people ask me, you know, what do you do with the pieces? Well, that's what I do with them. I keep them because for what I charge, it's worth it for me to keep them. Now, if I have to give them back, I'd have to charge more. So it's kind of a give or take. And just for disclosure, I will go ahead and tell people it's $25 a size. And some people are going to say that's crazy. Well, if you're keeping the gold, especially if you're sizing a ring down, it's worth it. Otherwise, if you're not, then it's probably going to be more like $40 a size. But $25 a size is more than fair. You could check just about any place and it's going to be at least starting at 35, maybe 40, and then going up from there. Some places you'll spend 150 bucks just to size it one size, you know, so. And they're doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. And they're charging you like double, triple. So, that's just for disclosure, anyway. Like I said, we're not trying to hide anything on this channel. We keep everything as open as we possibly can. I'm here to show everything. I don't want to show I've seen some of the other videos on YouTube where they just get little snippets and cliplets, and they got the best parts, and they're not really showing the whole process. And they got the now we just have to be a little careful, nothing major. We have these stones that come down the side, so we're just gonna, we need to meet the ends, but we need to meet them. We just take our time. You don't want to grab way up here by the stones. You want to grab it here on the side and pull it in a little bit, just a little bit at a time. Okay, just little bits at a time. And if it has to be ovaled out a little bit, that's fine. Just don't grab way up here where the stones are and try to crank from there, because then you're going to loosen these stones, and we don't want that. We don't want that. We're not trying to do that. And you can see our gap is getting closer here to where it needs to be. I'm not really worried about these stones anyways, because although they are channel set, they have a nice, they're in a nice channel with plenty of gold over them. So that is a plus. That is a plus. Now, hopefully in the middle of this video, I will not have to break away. I have a lady that's sending me a ring from Etsy. I should be making a video on that one. It's supposed to be delivered here today, but I have to sign for it. It's coming from Fort Myers, Florida. And she just messaged me a little while ago, said that. Now you see how that ring is oval, which is fine. We want it to be oval because we're bending from here to here. We're not bending up here. See? We can straighten this out once we've got it welded together. But we need it to be flush before we do that. Okay? So alright, we're flush. Now you see we bent from the sides to here. Now I know we're oval, but here again, we don't want to bend way up here. Okay? Once we got it welded, we can put it on the mandrel, tap it with our rubber mallet, and round this back out. So, let's go ahead and get it welded. And then we'll try to round this back out. And check our size. My freaking lid is stuck on my boric acid denatured alcohol. I'm sure some of you guys have had that happen. We're going to go ahead and dip the whole ring in there. And we're going to set this baby on fire. There we go. Got her lit up. Burn, baby, burn. Let that burn off a little bit. You bizotch. Flame went out on me. Come on. Start up. Torch is being finicky today. There we go. Let's try this again. Alright, let's let that burn for a minute there. In the meantime, let me go ahead and get you guys set up for the close-up shot here. And we'll put a little bit of flux on there. And you better make sure you're using the right solder, because if you're not, this is white gold. You see I got it marked blue. I remember I said in another video I mark them different colors. So yellow gold, yellow, white gold, blue. And then you know, if you're gonna have your different carats as well, and you can mark them. This way, if you cut a piece and you find it, you know, if you see it just laying there, it's got color on it, you know what it is. Otherwise, if it's just sitting there, you have no idea what color it is, or you know, whether it's yellow, white, or if it's 10 karat, 14 karat, 18 karat, whatever, you know. So it's just a good idea to mark it, because you will cut pieces, drop pieces. You might find it, and then you find it, and it don't do any good if you can't tell what it is. Alright guys, let's just see if we can't get this bad boy welded. So we're going to go back and forth, just a little bit. And we're going to get our solder on there. Okay. I'm going to heat it up. Make sure she pulls all the way through. And I think we are pulled all the way through, guys. Let's take a look and see. It looks like we are pulled all the way through, guys. Nice. Now these are diamonds, so we're not worried about sticking it in water to cool it off. Ain't got to worry about the stone shattering. Now that we got that welded, let's go ahead and try to round this back out a little bit. Now you can see we've ovaled it, but we haven't touched these sides at all. See? Haven't touched them. So we didn't have to really worry about them stones. Even if they came down a little further on the side, you still could have got that size down. Now, if they were coming a little further down and it was like your first time sizing a ring, I don't think I'd recommend trying to do it. There's just little things I can show you guys, but there's just certain little things you can only learn by trial and error, you know. It's just you have to do it. But we're going to put on the mandrel. As you can see right now, it's a oval mess, but we're going to use our rubber mallet to round it out a little bit, get it back in shape. We're not using the metal ball peen hammer right now, because we're not trying to stretch the metal in any way. We're just trying to round her back out. all we're trying to do. Now, if you didn't have those stones up here on the top, you wouldn't have had to oval it out so much. You could have grabbed up here and kept it more symmetrical, round. But with that said, if you got stones coming down the side, you're going to have to make it a little bit on the oval side. And like I said, it doesn't hurt it in any way, shape, or form. Especially white gold, because white gold is harder metal than yellow. Than yellow gold is. Alright, so you can see we are close to our size, almost. Well, not on this side, but on the other side we were. So now, let's tap it a little bit on the opposite side here. Alright, I'm going to weld that again. I just don't like the way that looks. Let's go ahead and weld that again real quick. Now that we got it rounded out a little bit, because I think what just happened is from us having to round it out, it started to split where we had to weld it. So I want to re-weld that just to be sure. Just to be sure. I'd rather be safe than sorry. What it was is it was a little bit too much stress on the where we had to weld it, because it was pretty ovaled and did have to straighten out quite a bit. So, but it's better to do that than to grab up at the top and loosen your stones. If you got to make it oval and then have to re-weld it once it's back straight again, it's better to do that than to have to tighten stones or lose them out of the setting altogether. But not a big deal. That just means you guys get another close-up shot. I know you guys like the close-ups. Alright, let's head in for the close-up. But you can see now we've got that ring more symmetrical. But I was kind of hoping that wasn't going to happen, but I kind of figured it was, since it was so oval, that it was going to put too much stress around it and back out, that it would start to break or crack where we had welded it. It is a strong weld. We are using hard solder, but when you're that ovaled and you're straightening that out, you know, there is a good chance it'll start to crack. You bitch. She opened up on us a little bit. That's fine. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, so we're just going to go ahead and meet these ends together, because it opened up a little bit from the heat. So we just want to get them ends close again. Did you guys see that pop open a little bit? That was just stress on the weld point from it being oval and then having to straighten out. But like I said, we really had no other option but to oval it because of the stones coming down the side. And I pretty much knew we were probably gonna have to re-weld it again, but I didn't want to say we would if we didn't have to, but it's not a biggie. But what happened there is once I put the heat to it, you probably seen it pop open a little bit. That just finished taking out the stress point there. Not a big issue. We had to cut us another piece of solder though, because that solder went flying somewhere. Not a biggie though. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more flux here. Just a tiny little bit. All right. Burn the boric acid denatured alcohol off. Must have been some residual on there. And if you got residual that tries to burn off, not a big deal. Ain't gonna hurt it. Most of the time it burns all the way off, but occasionally you get something that don't burn all the way off, and when you go to put fire back to it, it will. All right, we are welded again. This should be the last time we have to weld it. Let's zoom out here. Let's go ahead and dip her in some water. Now we won't have that problem anymore because we've got it rounded out now pretty much. So we won't have that stress on that point anymore. Just tap it with a rubber mallet, get it rounded back out a little bit. Like so. And now we need to flip it over to the other side. We need to round it out on that side a little bit. And if you're using a rubber mallet, you can hit hard. You're not worried about, it's not going to dent the metal or it's not going to dent the metal or push the metal or anything. And it looks like once we got this rounded out, it's going to be pretty darn close to a 5 where we want it to be. So it's going to be darn close. Okay. See, and all your stones are nice and tight in there still. It still looks kind of like a really tight 5 there. kind of a tight 5 over here. You want to make sure it's the same size on both sides of the ring, because if you don't make it that way, you can have it feel like it'll be a 5 on one side and then sitting at like 5 3/4 on the other side, and you don't want that. Still got a little bit of rounding out we need to do, especially on this side right here. All right, that's a 5. That's a 5. Now, just for GP, we're going to go through here and we are going to look at our stones. Nice and tight, nice and tight, nice and tight, nice and tight. Let me zoom you guys in here so you can see. So nice and tight, nice and tight, nice and tight, nice and tight. Sit the other side. Nice and tight, nice and tight, nice and tight, nice and tight. And the head, we're not even worried about. Those should be tight. Haven't done anything with those. But you can see we got our ring much more symmetrical now. Looks like a ring again. Let me zoom you guys back out. And we are right on a 5. It's a little bit tight. Let me do a little bit of more tapping on this side a little bit. It's kind of, it's a 5 there. It's a 5 there. And we're not going to tap anymore because we do have to do a little bit of filing on the inside and cleaning. So we don't want to, by the time we do that, it'll probably sit nice and easy on the 5. So let's go ahead and turn our torch off. And let's go ahead and file this inside down real quick. Let's go ahead and file this inside down. Yeah, see, he sits right on a 5 now. Right on a 5. Perfect. Alright, so now let's go ahead and file the outside of the ring down a little bit. Oh, you notice I got my flex shaft fixed. I don't know if I ever mentioned that in the video. Took my flex shaft off the other bench and brought it over here because that one I had on this bench was done for, but it was old. It was almost 25 years old. Lasted a while. And now what we need to do is grab our metal file. You can see we're got our top file down and our inside file. Now we need to make these sides a little even here. You can see how they're kind of bubbled out a little bit. Remember, the goal is, and always should be, when you're sizing a ring, when you're done, you shouldn't even be able to tell where it was welded. That's for sizing a ring up or down. If you put a piece in when you're sizing it up, you know, if you're putting a piece in when you're sizing it up, you shouldn't be able to tell where you put the piece in at. And when you're going down, when you weld it, you shouldn't be able to tell where you welded it at. And that's the way it should be. Now, when you're starting out, you know, you're probably going to have some issues with that. But that's okay. Like I said, it's this is one of them deals where it's just like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get. The more you learn, the little tricks you learn. And sometimes it's not a one size fits all kind of thing either, you know. Sometimes and remember, this is the basic way of how most jewelers are going to size a ring. All these videos I make is going to be the basic concept, but you can always tweak it a little bit to what you like better. You know, like I like to use a rock for the inside and outside of rings. Some people like to use sandpaper, you know. There is no one size fits all. You can do certain things different ways and end up with the same result. But this is going to be your basic, pretty much how every jeweler's going to do it. With some tweaks here and there. You know? And that's why I never say, you know, hey, you got to do it my way or it's the right way. No. There's plenty of different ways you can do it. There's, you know, some jewelers, like when they size a ring, they like to use a saw to cut their piece. You know, I think you're wasting time. I like to clip it out. But, you know, and usually you're going to be pretty darn close. And you save a lot of time. But some people don't like to do that, which is fine. And remember, we're just doing this lightly. We just want the side to get even and blend in. We're not trying to push real hard and gouge inward. And let's run across the top here a little bit, get this jagged edge out of there. All right, now we want to actually run across the top a little bit. All right. Got a file on this side just a little bit more. Okay. We should be ready to go ahead and smooth the inside of the ring now. So let's go ahead and do that with our silicone wheel. Now there's different grades of silicone wheels, so you can use what you prefer. And I felt something drop. What dropped? Something dropped. Well, must not have been out here. It must have been something else. Felt a thud on the floor. Anyways, let's go ahead and smooth this inside out real quick. Yeah, I know cameras have to readjust, guys. I tell you what, it's definitely been a trick trying to learn to keep camera in focus and do repairs. Adds a new level of challenge that I kind of like. And basically all we're doing now is just smoothing out the inside of the ring. Get it nice and smooth. Boy, you can tell it's after Christmas, man. I'm looking at my watch because I got stores that's freaking blowing up my phone, man. But that's usually the way it is. You get busier after Christmas than before Christmas. At the time of doing this video, this ring here is for one of the local stores. And then I have another one for Cash America over on Main Street. They got some stones that need replaced in a bracelet, which I'm going to be making a video on that probably right after this one. So you'll be seeing that one coming. Alright, we got that inside smooth. Let's go ahead and switch to our outer silicone wheel so we can smooth out the back side and the sides here. And basically what this does is this just gets a lot of the real deep scratches out that the buffer ain't going to get out. Basically you want all the scratches out before you hit it to the buffer. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the side now. This is a nice ring. It's a nice heavy ring. Well, not necessarily heavy, but it's nice and thick. Beefy, I guess would be more the term I'm looking for. Okay. Let's go ahead and hit this other side. Kind of smooth them edges out a little bit there. Alright guys, we have got this thing right where we want it to be. Now we just need to go polish her up. So first we got to drop it in the ultrasound a little bit first. But let's go do that. Let's check our size one more time. 5 on the money. Flip it over to the other side. 5 on the money. All right. Let's go drop it in the ultrasound, guys, and we'll come back and polish this bad boy. We'll be right back. All right, guys. We dropped that in the ultrasound. We're ready to go polish this thing up, man. Make it look like brand spanking new. God, white gold just looks so much better polished in its natural form. I don't know why that is, but it just does. already looking like a brand new ring, man. Looks good, man. Look at that, what we got already. Woo. Nice. Looks awesome. Look at that. So you can tell the difference from that side. Still got rouge on it from that side. Alright guys, let's go hit the inside of the ring now. Gotta have the inside looking shiny too, otherwise it's gonna look weird. Then we're going to kind of crank it at an angle a little bit, kind of get some of them edges buffed out a little bit. Inside buffed real good. Alright guys, I think we are ready to go drop this in the ultrasound and come back and look at the finished product in just a second here. One more spot to hit right here and right there. Awesome. Alright, let's go drop it in ultrasound, get all this black crap off of us, and we'll come back and look at the finished product, guys. We will be right back. Alright guys, we're back with that ring. You can see we got it nice, clean, polished up. Got my fingerprints all over it. Trying to keep the fingerprints off of it. But we got it sized from a 7 to a 5. And luckily this was a fairly uneventful repair here. But we got nice and clean, polished. Can't keep my fingerprints off of it. I hate touching it afterwards. But anyways, this is the Gangster Jeweler, guys. If you would like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. If you'd like to leave a tip or donation, the link for that will be down in the description. Although it's not required, it just helps the channel grow. And if you would also, if you're looking for jewelry online, if you check out Stellar Jewelry, I'll have the link for that down in the description. And also I have a Twitch stream that I'm working on. I stream usually about 8 p.m. every night. You can tune in for that. And also I have another YouTube channel where all my streams or my live Twitch streams go. I'll have a link for that down in the description as well. But this is the Gangster Jeweler, guys. And I will see you on the next one. Take care.